Hello again, everybody. First things first, I am wearing a Chelsea shirt because I am filming this the morning of the Champions League final. It's been 9 years since our last appearance, and I am so nervous. But by the time this video is released, hopefully we are the champions of Europe. Guess we'll wait and find out. Anyway, with regards to the video, I thought I would probably do a couple of videos with regards to my favourite manufacturers. Now, I've broken this down into two parts. The first part, which is this video, is going to focus entirely on the popular manufacturers, the ones that everyone is very familiar with. And then the next video is going to be some of the more obscure ones that maybe some people haven't seen before. And I felt like it was only fair to break it down that way, primarily because the popular ones, I just have more shirts, so I can form a better opinion. Whereas the more obscure ones, I may only own one or two, so it's kind of a little bit more difficult to figure out whether or not the manufacturer is actually continuously good or they just got lucky. So today we'll focus on these top 10. Now, if I were to just grab the top 10 manufacturers and grab their best shirts, it would be pretty much impossible to differentiate, because any manufacturer, if they really focus as hard as they can on a shirt, they can create something beautiful. So what I've done is I've tried to take an average of all of the shirts that I have in my collection and taken a little bit of influence from online, sort of images that I've seen floating around, and it's all hopefully going to be my opinion. I've not really taken into account what other people think. Like, I know a lot of people say, oh, I don't like this brand because they're too mainstream or whatever. I just tried to base it on my own thoughts and my own collection. Generally, I focus on the design, the fit, the material, and just to how vast that they seem to be reach across the world. So, like with anything, like anytime someone does one of these lists, it is my own opinion, and if you see one that's top and you think, well, they shouldn't be top, or why are they fifth, then let me know in the comments below, and let me know what your favorite manufacturer is. So without further ado, let's jump into it and hit up with the number 10 spot. So in 10th place we have Jacko. Now Jacko are one of those brands that are actually quite frustrating. And if they weren't so infuriating, they might find themselves a little bit higher on the list. So the two things that really frustrate me with this company is, firstly, tags. I hate to talk about tags all the time, but this company just seemingly add them willy-nilly whenever they feel like it. Which makes it very difficult to purchase them. Unless I'm buying them from like classic football shirts or vintage football shirts, I won't really know if they're ever going to arrive with them. So it makes it more of like a challenge, or I try and avoid purchasing them from like club stores because it's just too much of a risk. And the second issue is the sizing. Jacko don't know what they're doing with their sizing, it seems like. So generally, if you want to buy a medium UK, the tag on the inside is like a large European, and because most of the clubs that they service are European based, that's sort of the main sort of size that they focus on. So if you buy a medium, say for instance from the club store in Germany, you could probably end up getting what would actually be a small in the UK. However, it doesn't always follow up, because sometimes I bought what I think is a medium in the UK, and it says medium UK on the tag, but it comes as a small. And then sometimes I thought, oh, I'll buy a large, and it comes medium. No, it comes as a large anyway. So it's kind of hit and miss also with regards to that. Now, if we ignore those two things, they do actually some really nice designs. So for instance, this Würzburger Kicker shirt, really nice, good quality, very simple. Actually, the current season Würzburger Kicker shirt is really good. A few appeared on vintage football shirts, but they didn't have tags, unfortunately, so I wasn't really able to purchase any. And they've released a few this season for some other teams that are actually really good. And also, the price. Whenever you buy one of their shirts in the clearance, I'm not necessarily saying brand new from like the club store, they're actually pretty reasonable. I'm thinking anywhere between 23 to about £30, which if you're not really too worried about the tags or the sort of, the size, if it's not perfect, then Jacko are actually a pretty decent manufacturer to go with. So in 9th place we have Kalmae, and similar to Jacko, I feel like if I had a few more of their shirts, they could find themselves a little bit higher on the list. I only have 5 of them, which is, still a decent amount, but not quite enough to have a perfect understanding of how they work. So that's the kind of drawback with regards to them. They're not super prominent. I know recently they sort of tried to jump into the English market with the Watford shirts, which are actually really nice and really cool. But they seem to be focusing primarily in sort of the more obscure nations. And to be honest, that's kind of a little positive anyway, especially as a football shirt collector. So we have this UN Long shirt, which is from Hong Kong. And of course we have the Dodoi Bishkek shirt, which is from Kyrgyzstan. And I have one from Indonesia and then a couple from Spain. Now, the designs of the shirts, they kind of vary. So you've got this one, which is absolutely wild and crazy, and I love the orange, and I love the sort of the design running across the front. And then you have shirts that are like that, which are just very simple, standard style football shirts that you could find from really any manufacturer. Now I have the Rayo Vallecano shirt, which is the one with the sash running across in all different colours, in sort of a correspondence to sort of different fights and sort of things that they're trying to promote. That one's a really nice shirt. The quality of the material is really good, even for one like this, which is usually if you're sort of more of an obscure, smaller nation, then the material kind of does drop a little bit, but it's still pretty decent. This one from Hong Kong, again, really good quality. In 8th place we have Puma. Maybe a controversial choice. I know for a lot of people, Puma is actually one of those brands where it's one of their favourites. And to be honest, it still is one of my favourites. It's just not the favourite. What they have going against them is shirts that are released that look like that, really. I don't really quite understand what that is all about. And also that they seem to be quite heavily dependent on templates. Now, I don't mind templates sometimes, like a Nike template, which is very simple, raglan sleeve or something to that effect. Really nice, really clean. Whereas the Puma ones, I just don't think they look very good. I think no matter what colour they come in, they look terrible. And I feel like they should really try and avoid releasing that style of template anyway. And also if you throw into the fact the national team stuff, which luckily I don't collect national team shirts, they just really try to push the boundaries, and that's fine, but it doesn't always seem to work out, and especially with the current Euros, I'm not a fan. Now, like with other manufacturers, with this Ren shirt, this is a beautiful shirt. The sort of the culture-inspired shirts that they released for a few of their premium brands and premium partners were actually really nice. So if they were to continue to do shirts like this, like every season for more teams than just like a handful, then for sure they'd find themselves, top 5 easily. It's just the fact that they can release different styles of shirts, and a lot of them they don't really hit that well with me. I have a lot of Puma shirts, and to be honest, I could probably only pull 5 or 6 that I think are really nice, and the rest just fall into the category of, I have them, great, but nothing too exciting. So maybe in the future, they'll find themselves pushing the boundaries a little bit higher. So in 7th place, we have Umbro, and to be honest, they could have found themselves 4th. They're sort of the next few manufacturers I really struggled to rank. So, on a good day, Umbro could find themselves a little bit higher, whereas today they find themselves 7th. And the one of the reasons why I put them a little bit further down is just because the difference in contrasts to the quality of the material. So I am wearing this Chapecoense shirt, which is made with a very a different style. It's really smooth, really nice, just really feels really good. Whereas this one for Township Rollers, the material feels a lot cheaper. And then, for instance, you have this Girona shirt, which is then sort of an elasticated material. And then you have just the general shirts that you would expect that are just standard polyester, standard fit. So you've got like 4 different types going on there, which if you're going to be wearing these shirts, you're probably going to want to get one that obviously suits your body type. So if you buy one with this one in mind, you could probably get away with buying a standard. However, if you buy this one and it's elasticated, it might be a little bit tighter and then stretch around you, and it feels a little bit heavier. If you get one of these, it's very thin. So the material, so you might think, well, if I'm going to be wearing it in a cold climate, it's not really going to be that suitable. So it's small details like that right now that kind of help distinguish between these brands. As with regards to the design of these shirts, I have quite a decent amount of Umbro shirts, and they're not really ones for the crazy out there designs. I think probably the most outrageous ones are probably these two that I'm wearing right now. Can't really tell. Oh, I've got the Amazulu one with the lion on the front, which is actually that's pretty wild. But other than that, they kind of play it safe, which that's not a bad thing. But for someone who likes to collect, the odd crazy one, I would love for Umbro to release one. Now, if they've done that and I've not seen it, let me know. But that's just one of the things that I would like for them to do. Now, what they have got going in their favour is that Umbro seem to be pretty good at branching out across the entire world. So I have Umbro shirts from South America, Africa, Europe. I have them from Asia. So the only place I haven't got an Umbro shirt from is Oceania. And that's just because it's difficult to get shirts from that part of the world anyway. So I wouldn't be surprised if they did already expand out there. So that's kind of nice. It's a great opportunity for me to get these obscure ones. And, Umbro, they make, no matter what the material style is, they do make good quality goods. In 6th place, we have the mighty Adidas, another big brand that didn't quite make it into the top 5. For some people, that would be kind of sacrilegious, and for others, they'd be like, yes, finally someone who doesn't rate Adidas super highly. Now, don't get me wrong, I do love an Adidas shirt. Growing up as a Chelsea fan, of course, we were sort of sponsored by Adidas for quite a lot of the time that I was supporting them when I was younger. So I did fall in love with the sort of the 3-stripe running across the shoulders or down the sides sometimes, as was the case. Unfortunately, when it comes to collecting their shirts, yes, they make really good quality. Like the material, regardless if you're buying a shirt from one club to another, it's going to be the same, really high quality. The designs, though, sometimes just are a little bit boring. So, for instance, this Lutzen shirt doesn't really stand out in any way, shape, or form. I understand that there's a block sponsor, which isn't necessarily always the fault of the manufacturer. It's just what is given to them. But when they're putting like Felt's logos on, for me, that's not a good thing. And I own probably, I think Adidas is my most popular manufacturer in my collection. With them, a lot of the shirts that I own, I kind of forget that I own them. Like there are a few that stand out. Like for instance, this Red Star shirt, beautiful. I mean, it's pink, so it's always going to look good. But just the sponsor and just the styling, the design, really high quality. And it's the same sort of thing with the Milan away shirt that I have, good quality. The Wisla Krakow shirt, beautiful. Legia Warsaw shirt, away shirt, beautiful. But then it's just the other ones that I kind of forget that I own. And I'm like, oh yeah, I have that one. Oh yeah, it's Adidas. They kind of all follow the same sort of pattern. They're not as crazy as maybe I would have hoped that they will be. However, a lot of the shirts certainly released in MLS this season are kind of out there. Not necessarily the primary ones, but the secondary ones, like the Seattle Sounders one, and the one that I forget that has the lightning bolts running down the front. Those are really good quality shirts. Now, as the prices hopefully drop, I will be picking up a few of them. And maybe that will find them moving up the list a little bit to closer to sort of Nike, I guess. Spoiler alert, they're higher than Adidas. Sneaking into the top 5 is Joma. Joma is one of those manufacturers, whenever I see one of their shirts appear for sale, like say for instance on classic football shirts, I kind of get really excited. Now, it's getting to a point where I actually own quite a lot of Joma shirts. I'm thinking probably close to 20. So, and they seem to sort of team up with clubs for quite a long time. So, for instance, Torino, Hoffenheim, and Leganes, they're going to be with them for a while. And if I've already bought one of their shirts, it's just going to be the same every season. But they also seem to pair themselves with sort of clubs all around the world. A lot of the time it's Central American clubs, actually. So it's kind of a great excuse to be able to pick up shirts from there, because retailers like classic football shirts, they seem to be really good at picking up Joma. And in fact, just yesterday or over the last few days, they've dumped a whole load of current season Joma shirts on clearance. So you can pick up the Hoffenheim shirts, the Toulouse shirt, the Torino shirts are really good prices for like mid-20s, which for the quality of the shirt, like every single Joma shirt I have, really high quality. You can't really go wrong at that price. Now, with Joma, the only small thing that I would say holds them back is sometimes the sizing can be a little bit weird. Like obviously I buy them all medium, but sometimes they come just a little bit too big, which for some people is okay, you know, it's a bit of give. But it's just one of those things where if you buy a shirt and you're not expecting it to be quite a slightly different size, it can be a little bit annoying. But because I don't really wear them other than just for like videos like this, it's not a massive issue. Similar to Adidas in the respects that a lot of the shirts that they release are not that crazy. Now I appreciate I've got one here which has got like a kind of a weird reptilian skin running across the shoulders. But other than that, they're just sort of similar to this Milanese shirt, where it's just very simple, your sponsor, your club crests, and kind of nothing else really. Maybe a few little trims around the sleeves or running on the sides. And Joma are one of those examples where you don't have to be crazy to do a good quality shirt. Like every Joma shirt I have, like the Toulouse shirt, the Rijeka shirt, these are all really high quality and they just look really classy. Some of the best shirts that I have in my collection are Joma shirts. And if it's only because there's an odd few that just sometimes are just a little bit weird, just not quite to the same level. And on occasion I bought a Joma shirt and it's not had tags attached, which kind of sometimes ruins it a little bit and it makes me a little bit hesitant to purchase them. But other than that, I don't really have that much of a bad thing to say about them. Just missing out on the top 3 is Kappa, and it does pain me to sort of exclude them from the top 3, but they just missed out on a few small little details. And actually, if we'd have done this video maybe 2 or 3 years ago, they might have not even made the top 10. It's because the first Kappa shirts that I bought were like Girona, Evian, and I really didn't like the fit. They were very elasticated, very stretchy, and that's just my own personal preference. I just don't really like that. However, as time progressed, I picked up Borussia Mönchengladbach shirt, and I was like, ooh, it's actually a normal, regular fit. And then I was turned on to shirts like this Zamora shirt, Real Betis shirt, and I was like, hang on a minute, something's happening here. So the one of the drawbacks with regards to Kappa, other than the sort of the sizing and the fitting, is again tags. For some reason, sometimes they just decide never to attach tags. I have that Palencia shirt, the one that's similar to this one, but it's just like the muscular system. Never was revealed with tags, which I don't understand. Whereas this one, which has got the circulatory system on, yeah, they've got some tags attached. So it's kind of like, okay, then that's a little bit frustrating. But other than that, they don't really have that many drawbacks. Now, you know me, I like the crazy designs, and I don't really think there's anybody more than Kappa that can do that sort of style. Like, who's going to go, oh yeah, sure, we'll put a heart on. We can do a heart on a shirt. Like, can you imagine Adidas trying to do that? They wouldn't do that. But Kappa are like, yeah, we'll do it. And it's not even just that. It's like these ones here. Obviously, I like pink on the shirts, but it's just a really good, clean style. And it's, I've got lots of Kappa shirts now that I'm trying to find that are just really, really good quality. Even like the Bastia shirt, which has a little bit of elastication, I really like. I got the Padova shirt, which feels a little bit differently. It feels similar to the Chapecoense one. It's a really sort of silky style. So it's really good quality. Now, Kappa, they're kind of one of those classic ones where people look back and think, oh, the Roma shirts, and they've got that little bit of nostalgia associated with them. I think they're trying to just change the brand a little bit. They're going to go down the route of just maybe trying to stand out a little bit more. And to be honest, I can't think of another manufacturer that can do that better than Kappa. And sneaking into the top 3 are Nike. And the reason why they feature higher up the list than Adidas is simply because I feel like Nike are able to just offer a wider range on style of shirts. Like, for instance, we took this Club America shirt. Can you imagine Adidas doing this sort of design? Not really. Maybe in the coming years they might, but sort of years going by, I wouldn't expect it. Whereas Nike, they're like, yeah, sure, let's go for it. They do really good quality player issue versions. Now, I'm not going to use that as an example because all player issue versions are good, but this Nike one in particular is good quality. And then if you go back to sort of even the template-based ones, so the sort of standard ones that all these big manufacturers offer, I feel like the Nike one is the best looking. It's less invasive. You don't have the stripes running down, you don't have them running down the sides. A lot of the Nike ones are just a very simple style, just plain body, a couple of crests, and that's kind of it. Which sometimes that's what you want. You don't always have to have the crazy styles. And the main reason why they feature, for me personally, up in third is because when I was looking through every single Nike shirt I owned, and I own about 50, there was only, I would say, 2 or 3, maybe 4 shirts that when I was looking through I was thinking, I'm not a fan of that. A lot of the shirts that I have that are my favourites are Nike shirts. Like, I love the Club America shirt. I love the Inter Milan home shirt. Absolutely beautiful. I love the Kaiser Chiefs shirt. Even the Sparta Prague shirt, which is very basic. It's just the way that they pull it off is just really nice. And honestly, I'm not upset that they currently sponsor sort of Chelsea. I know we were with Adidas for quite a while, and you know, I really grew to like them, but I felt like a change was quite useful. And to be honest, most of the Chelsea shirts that they've released have been really good, including the one that they've just released for the next season, which is going to be happening. I know some people are kind of hit and miss, and you know, they don't really like the design, but for me, I think it's quite jazzy. So when it comes to Nike shirts, you know, to be honest, I could have seen them second or first on this list, but they just miss out just because they don't have that little bit of magic that I feel like the top 2 have. And today's runner-up are Hummel. If I had done this video maybe 2 or 3 years ago, for sure they would have been number 1. When I first started collecting football shirts, Hummel were the brand that I would be constantly looking out for. If I saw one for sale, I would absolutely try and purchase it. And the reason for that was pretty simple, really. The quality of the shirts is just so good. Like, the level of detail that they put onto a shirt is kind of, I won't say it's incomparable, because Kappa can do it, and Nike can definitely do it, and Who Are First can definitely do it. But it puts a lot of the other companies, like I'd say Puma, to shame a little bit. A lot of the first shirts that I bought from Hummel were not as crazy as the ones that I'm sort of wearing and showing here. They were a little bit more subtle. It's like the Real Vallecano shirt, the Recreativo Huelva shirt, the what else did I buy? I bought the Cultural Deportivo Leonesa, the charity shirt. Like, these were the sort of my entrance, my gateway drugs into Hummel. And as time has progressed, they've really, really impressed me. Like this Forward Madison shirt and this Braga shirt, these are such amazing bespoke designs that you wouldn't really see featured anywhere else. I mean, I could see Kappa trying to pull something off like this, but just the way Hummel do it with regards to the material that they use, it's just high quality. Like, the chevrons running down, a lot of it's sort of like sublimated. It's just really good quality. And also, what I really like is when it comes to the tags, they use little drawing pins and they attach it to the sort of generally the inner size tag, so they're not really causing any damage to the material. I really like that touch. And also the tags themselves, they are not kind of boring. They have a little bit about the club. They have the club crest, and they're done like with like cardboard, and so it's just all really, really well responsible, and sort of just even just the detail of the tags suggests that they know what they're doing. Obviously, I've been buying them recently with the FC Emmen shirt. Again, just the small details with all the flags, the sort of the homages to the region. You cannot go wrong with Hummel shirt. And of course, in first place, it's Macron. For those of you who have been watching my videos for a while, or speak with me outside of YouTube, it will come to you as no surprise that I value Macron as the best brand right now. And the reason why I hold them to such high regard, there's a few reasons, to be honest. I just really like the quality of the material that they use. It's like not super lightweight, but it's not heavy either. It's just about the right sort of thickness for me. I really love the attention to detail. So, for instance, on this Sporting CP one, the braille and the Morse code that's running across the front, I think that's a great design. And then what they really like to do and they focus on is they focus on the smaller nations. So not only do it for the clubs like the Sanzak one, they do it for the national teams. So they just absolutely swept up all of the small nations, and they offer the sort of the uniforms for those, which is great. And then it's just the small details, such as like when I bought one from Iceland. So I got my velour shirt, and it arrived, and it didn't have the tag, which of course was just absolutely gutting to me. I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to send it back. So I dropped them an email saying, look, you know, usually you guys attach tags, and you know what they did? They got one sent out to me. They mocked one up, they filled it in with all the correct details, sent it through the post to me, and I sort of applied it to my shirt. And it's just small things like that level of customer service. I really don't think I'd be able to get anywhere else. I've not really had to deal with other companies before, so maybe you could tell me if I'm wrong in that. But it's just small things like that that can really sort of just allow you to stand out. It's not even necessarily the shirt itself. It's just the company behind the shirt. And I think that was a great little bit of a help that I received. And if you'd like to take, for instance, the Canadian League, they supply all the shirts for all the teams there. And just looking at them, every single one of those shirts are beautiful. And it's not like just the away shirts or just the home shirts. Like literally every single shirt that any of the clubs own are beautiful. Like I would love to be able to have the entire league, like just in my collection. I don't have any at the moment. I think I really need to buy one just because, well, I need a Canadian shirt anyway, and the shirts are beautiful. The prices are a little bit higher than what maybe I would like. Like with Macron, you either get super cheap or they just maintain a high value. I would love it just to drop a little bit. That's sort of like Hummel, just a little bit further down, and that would make it perfect. But yeah, sometimes it's very difficult to explain quite why a manufacturer stands out sort of more than the others. And Macron just have that little bit of an X factor that other companies don't. However, Hummel and Nike were very close behind them, so Macron better keep up to their high standards, or else maybe next year they might find themselves dropping down the list a little bit. But anyway, that's it. Those are the top 10 manufacturers that currently I believe are the best. These are all the major manufacturers. Like I said, the next video should hopefully be ones that are a little bit more obscure. Let me know what you think. Who are your favourite manufacturers? Who don't you like? Is there any here that you don't agree with? Like I say, everyone's different, so it's always nice to see what your guys' opinions are, especially as you know, I know that you're all big football shirt fans. Anyway, I hope you all have a sort of a good week, and hopefully Chelsea win the Champions League later on today. Otherwise, the video next Friday will be a little bit more morose. Anyway, thank you as always for watching, and I'll see you next time.